It's starting.
Hello, hello.
And we're live. Yay.
Woo! It's always this weird delay every single time.
we got to figure it out. It's okay. It's okay. The delay is okay.
Well, I'm excited to be back. I feel like it's been a minute since we've done a live and excited to dive into some questions today.
Yeah, I hope you all brought in your questions. We're actually going live a little bit earlier than anticipated, but if you're joining, it's never too late. You can always watch this on replay. And if you're listening to this, remember we do this live on YouTube. So if you just happen to be on YouTube and you want to see our faces, that's where you go.
And ask a question real time.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
that's
those are
right.
some of my favorites is when we get the real time questions. We did bring some topics though too that we both wanted to share because I feel like
Yes.
there is some interesting stuff that's been happening.
Oh, yeah? Do you wanna go first? I feel like
I definitely made that seem way more interesting than
Yeah, I'm
it
like,
is.
"Huh,
Okay, I
something on
mean
your mind."
it's not really related to me, but I think I found this interesting.
Uh-huh.
Is a friend of mine who is married. No need for this. She messaged me this like video of this new dating app for foodies. It's
Okay.
called Marble. Have you heard of this?
No.
So you basically make a reservation for two people at like whatever restaurant you want to go to. It might just be in New York now. I'm not sure how widespread they are. And then you basically match off of that. So if you like see two
Huh.
people, like someone's like, I'm gonna set, first of all, it gets to, I guess they'll set the date, but then you also can kind of judge based on your food style and where you actually wanna go. So, like, if someone, like, chooses, like, Applebee's in Times Square, you're like, "Nope." I will
Wait.
always remember sorry, side tangent. I will always remember right out of college, one of my best friends lived in New York, and my mom and brother came in, and we took her to Applebee's in Times Square, and I'm just like she was such a good sport.
At least it wasn't Bubba Gump. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe
I
Applebee's is
I don't know
worse.
what's worse.
Well, that's very sweet of, you guys taking her out. So I guess I'm not completely understanding. You see other people's reservation choices?
So you see their reservation. I had to watch the video to understand. I would love to talk to someone there. But you basically see the reservation for two, and then you start to match. Like if you're like, "Oh, I'm down for that," you can like say, "I'm,"
Oh.
and then obviously the person that booked it has to like accept you too. I'm not sure what the mechanism is 100%,
Oh.
but it basically you don't chat until like the date of where you're going and when you're going is kind of approved on both of your parts.
So you're truly leading with your foodie side.
Yeah.
I want to go to this restaurant and I've been meaning to check it out and I'm going to go check it out with a stranger and see who's there.
Yeah. I mean, it's yes, but I'm sure like also when you get the match in, I'm sure you're like, is this someone I want to go on a date with there, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's not like I just want to go to this place because I could go with my friends, but it kind of takes out the guesswork, I guess, of finding the date to begin with.
Uh-huh.
And then clearly like matching also on food taste, which is something that no other dating app can account for at all outside of conversation.
It is similar to 500 brunches in some regard. You have a time
Yeah.
and place.
Yes.
There's food involved.
Yeah. I think that was, I mean, 500 Brunches for anyone new is actually the company that I started and how
Yeah.
UA and I met. And oh my God, I just am going back to, we did one of our book events recently at the Battery.
Uh-huh.
And this whole group of people like were friends from 500 Brunches that came.
Yes.
And I
You
just could
change
not, I
lives.
couldn't get over that. They were like, "Yeah, we met there and we're like really good friends now." And I'm like, "Wow." But that was you basically, yeah, you got this email and it was like, "You've been invited to this group that's similar interests." Like it didn't really go into what they were. Sometimes we did, but most of the
Mhm.
times they were general. And it was like you were matched. Do you
Mhm.
want to go to X restaurant on X date? So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess like some of it is based on, like, do you like the vibe of this place and the food, and are you
Yeah.
free? So that's part of it. I think the difference here, though, with 500 Brunches, you were, like, 8 people, it wasn't
Yeah, in a
centered
group.
around dating.
Yeah.
This is like, "Okay, I need to, like, really decide, do I wanna be at a dinner table with this person?"
That's so tough. That's so
So,
tough. Oh, I don't
I
know.
mean, as a foodie, I love this idea. But what I don't like about it is it's the first date, because I don't know about you,
Yeah.
UA, but I feel like I got trapped at some dinners before, and I kinda made that, like, pledge that I was like, "I'm not gonna do a first date at a dinner."
And I don't wanna play the whole, like, "Who's paying for this
No.
game?"
And if you're doing, like, foodie choices, it's probably
Yeah, it'd be
expensive.
expensive. Yeah, I'm not trying to
I'm
go to,
he
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not trying to go to some, like, Michelin star restaurant with a
Right.
stranger.
Or maybe there is a subset of people out there
Maybe
that
there
are.
is.
I don't know, but I do think I'm curious how this takes off, and I don't know. Again, I haven't dug into this that much, but my friend that sent it, it was like this food influencer that I have heard of before that was
Mhm,
like promoting it, and he's like big in New York City. So I'm
mhm.
guessing it's like New York, and I don't know where else it is, but I'm really curious like if it takes off, if this is like something that people do, because I do think that barrier of like the first date being a dinner is a lot.
It's a lot. I think it could be good to incentivize those hard to get reservations, right? If I guess like I've been dying to go to this restaurant. Can you get
Yeah,
reservations? And this person is going, might as
but
well take up this opportunity. But then
I would
it's
still
like
have
if
to
the
really like them at
yeah,
least.
but how do you know if you like
You don't
them?
know.
Yeah, the
That's the
whole vetting
thing.
process is a little hard.
I think been burnt too many times on a dinner date that I would rather just take my chance and get a reservation on my own.
Yeah, and go with a friend.
Yeah.
Or go by yourself, I don't know. I know all my foodie friends go to restaurants by themselves because they can enjoy the meal better.
So, okay, so my fiancé used to do that. He
Yeah,
would
because he's
go
such
for,
a
like,
foodie.
he loves tasting menus, loves it.
Yes.
He's up-leveled my foodie experience. But he would go solo on his
Yes.
birthday, and his best friend is like, "Why didn't you ever invite me? I would've gone with you."
I mean, my friend Jamie, our friend Jamie, same
Yeah.
way, such a foodie. She says for the restaurants she really wants to go to, she wants to go by herself because she thinks the talking is distracting her from tasting
Mhm.
the food, and she can
Interesting.
fully enjoy herself. She can order whatever she wants. There's no sharing. I don't know, a
So
true
I think
foodie.
okay, I think I mean, everyone has their merit of being solo, I see her point, but I also think a good company could enhance that. Also, being solo
Sure.
could enhance it, but bad company would definitely
Oh,
make
yes.
I would 100% rather be solo than bad company.
Right, yeah. There's a lot of risk
Yeah.
with going with a stranger.
I think that dropping, like, a lot of money on a first date with a
Yeah,
stranger, I mean, maybe if you're, like, new to a city and you're just trying to, like, meet people and you have, like, no one to hang out with, I could kinda see it. I might attract people like that.
sure. Yeah, there are definitely gonna be people who sign up for it, and I think you're gonna definitely get people who had a terrible experience,
Yeah,
and then people who don't have a terrible experience, but it's hard for an app to keep people accountable unless they're taking some sort of deposit, like, you took a deposit from people for
still didn't
500
help,
brunches.
though. I mean,
Yeah, and
like,
people
it
still
was
flake.
yeah, which was crazy to me because we did an
Yes.
experiment of, like, a $5 deposit, and then you just pay
Mhm.
your share at the restaurant.
Yeah,
Or we did basically what the meal would cost plus that fee, all
yeah,
inclusive, thinking that less people would flake if they
and
paid
they still do.
$40 rather than 5. Same amount. Didn't matter.
Still do.
It's crazy.
And
It's like if you're not gonna go, you don't care.
some of these restaurants take a hefty deposit fee
Yeah,
if it's a hard to get reservation, and I bet you
I'm
people
sure.
still will flake on this app.
Yeah. I mean, I think with 500 brunches, I mean, there were a couple things. People definitely did flock to like the harder to get reservations
Mhm.
for in cinema and Nopa for any SF people. Those
Mhm.
were always very popular ones. But I feel like I pick the places, or like our
Mhm.
company pick the places, where this app, it's more the individual. So they could be
Right.
like 3 Michelin star restaurant. I mean, I guess you have to opt in. So you're
Yeah.
losing people by default, but I think I tried to keep it like relatively a lower price point. Also,
Yeah.
brunch by default is a lower price point. But
Right.
I guess this,
Right.
you could do brunch if you wanted
You could
to.
do brunch. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could do brunch. Mm. But it is geared towards foodies. So I'm guessing that all
Yeah.
these restaurants are going to
Right.
be somewhat top tier even for brunch.
That's the difference because I
Ooh.
think I think with 500 brunches, it was never really like this is a foodie experience. It was like social connection around food.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you do something like that now if it was a group thing? Like an app for foodies to enjoy food in a group?
Would I start it or would I go to
Would
it?
you go to it?
Okay, those are very different things.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so at this stage of my life, I don't know because I feel like it's hard enough to make time for existing friends
Yeah.
and my partner and all the things. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I would necessarily seek out the new experience. If I was single, if I was new to a city, if I didn't have a lot of friends in the same life stage as me, absolutely. So I think for me, it would be circumstantial to where I was. Would you?
Yeah. No. Absolutely not.
You're like, even if I have nothing going on, I wouldn't. But you did 500 brunches back in the day. Were you just more social then?
I feel like that wasn't really about the food again.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with going with the foodie angle, going to a restaurant I really want to go to with strangers doesn't sound enticing to me at all.
Yeah. There was a competitor to 500 brunches that was more about that. It was like all
Uh huh.
centered around the food, and that never appealed to me either.
So, and their target
Yeah.
audience is foodies. So then it's like,
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know who
mm,
will gravitate to this app. Like maybe it could be people that are there for the food, others there for the date, and that could be a huge disconnect too.
what's it called again?
I feel
Do
like
you
we've
remember?
spent a lot of time talking about it. Marble, which is a very
Marble. I was like,
interesting name.
maple? Marble.
Marble. This
Mm.
is not sponsored
Yeah.
by Marble at all. It's
Obviously. Yeah.
as we're,
Because
like,
we just,
critiquing it,
yeah,
yeah.
because we
If this
tore
was
it
sponsored
apart.
by Marble, it'd be a different
Drop
conversation,
us
so
now. Yeah.
yeah.
Get your money back, Marble.
Marble
No.
dating app, I'm looking it up. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
not I don't have high hopes for any new dating app coming onto the market, to be perfectly honest, but you
I
never know.
like there's creativity. I like that. I
Sure.
think that's, like, lacking right now. I'm not sure if this is it, but okay, their tagline is where every match is a real date. I feel like Wim tried to do this. There's been a lot of
Yes.
people that have tried to do this.
Yes.
I like that they're trying something different because I think it's so stale of just,
Yeah.
swiping through photos and having the small talk and doing the like, I don't know, standard date. So I like that. I'll give Marble a go for that.
Good job, Marble. Keeping it creative. Keeping it creative. Okay, can I go to my
Yes, please
my
do.
thought? So different from this. So different from this. The overarching question is, when is it your role to say something? Okay, just
Okay.
go with me.
What's the
Okay.
scenario?
The scenario is, and this is something I was watching on TV that prompted this memory. I remember going to Taiwan with my ex, years ago, and he had his friend was there um, to visit his family and blatantly cheating on his girlfriend.
Mm,
And I witnessed this, and he just did it in front of all of us who knew his girlfriend.
okay.
And I think I was watching something on TV where some like the person who would be me stepped in and said something to the
Mm,
girlfriend. But when is it your role to say something? Because in something like
yeah.
this, I wasn't like direct friends with the girlfriend, but I met her a few
Right.
times. There's girl code. I respect her. And also
Yeah.
I wanted to call this guy out because he was blatantly doing this.
But you didn't say anything to her.
I didn't say
Yeah.
anything at the time. I felt like it was in my place. I
Yep.
did say something to him.
Okay.
Said like, maybe there's something wrong with your relationship that you feel like you have to be cheating on her and like so blatantly too. But I don't know, in hindsight, they did break up shortly after.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
So it worked itself out. Yeah.
It did. It worked itself out. But like in all these scenarios, if
Yeah.
you were to see even like let's say your friend out there doing something bad or betraying their partner, when is it your turn?
Mm.
When is it your place to say something when you witness these things?
So if it was your friend betraying their partner, I mean, I
Uh-huh.
would 100% say something to my friend,
Uh-huh.
similar to like what you said to that guy. And that's not even your friend. It was like a friend removed.
Yeah.
But like, if I don't know, one of my good friends was like cheating on their spouse, I would 100% say something to them.
Yeah.
And I'd be
Okay.
like, what's going on here? But if it's
What if you saw
someone,
their what if you saw their spouse doing something
oh,
bad?
if it's someone I know well, I would say something to that. I would say
W-
something to them. I would
to the
say
spouse.
the spouse, what I would say to them is like, "What the hell?" And
Uh-huh.
you need to talk to your friend, your significant other, or if not, like I'm gonna have to say something to my friend.
Okay.
Like
But
I
you
would want
wouldn't
to
break it
give
to your friend.
I'd want to give them a
A
time
chance.
to do it, but
Yeah.
then if it is a close friend, I would have to say something. I wouldn't be able to like hold it in. But I
Yeah.
think in the scenario you had with someone you don't know, I wouldn't
Not
say
that
something to
well.
that person.
To
Yeah,
either
but
person.
like, oh, maybe to the guy, but even that would be a little tricky because it's like it was. I mean, granted, your ex ended up proving himself the same way, but
Exactly.
at the
Yes.
time, you did not
It
know
was
that.
my partner's
Yes,
friend.
but at the time, like you're also like there's a weird barrier there that like you are kind of respecting your partner by not disrespecting their friend.
Right. So
So
maybe I should have asked my partner to say something to him.
that's probably what I would have done. If it was someone I didn't know well, that's what I would have done. I don't know though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was wrong that you said something. Clearly, your ex wouldn't have done well with that.
No.
'Cause he clearly didn't think it was a problem. So I'm not sure if that would
Clearly.
help. But I think I mean, if it's someone that you barely know, I just think it's like hard to get in the middle of it.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Cuz we did come back and hung out with the girlfriend a few times and they acted like everything was normal and it
Yeah.
just didn't feel right to me. The few
Yeah.
times like I was alone with her in the bathroom or something like that, and I'd be like, "Should you say something?" But
I
maybe she
mean, it's
already knows.
awkward. It's definitely
Super
awkward.
awkward.
I just think it's like if someone's not ready to receive it, though, then you become the person in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't wanna be that person.
Like, okay, let's say hypothetically, because this thought like crossed my mind. I don't think it would have happened, but what if it did? So remember that time when we were at South by Southwest, your ex was gonna go with my partner to the music.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
was like, this isn't gonna really work, but whatever. If they want to do it, they should do
Yeah.
it. So hypothetically, what if they had gone together? They didn't end up going together, but what if they had gone together? And my partner is deep watching music, 'cause that's why they shouldn't
Mhm.
have gone together in the first place, because they wouldn't have had
Mhm.
fun. And your partner was out there trying to hit on girls.
Yes.
And
Right.
I feel like that could have happened in theory. And
Yeah.
then like it would have been super awkward. Like, does he probably would have told me,
Yeah.
and then I would have had to tell you, or
Would you have?
I would have had to say something to him to come clean, and then if he didn't by a certain time, I would have had to say something to you.
You would have said something.
Yeah, because 'cause you're,
Yeah,
like,
I don't
one of my
know.
best friends. Like, I think if it was, like, a rando girl I met 2 times, that's very different to me.
But I guess it then becomes like he said, right? Like my
I
ex could
mean,
have been like, "I saw friends I knew. I knew these girls," or like,
I know. I mean, if that happened, I guess I would have dropped it at that point. I would have been
yeah.
suspicious, but I would have dropped it because, yeah, it's, like, a lot of separation, so it would have been hard to know. But, like, if I had said something to you, what would your reaction have been?
I really don't know. I really don't know because I probably was still in the mindset of defending him.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't have thought he was doing that.
Yeah, I would have been like, "Oh, he's just really friendly," or
Right.
yeah, there were girls that he knew already, but then it would have planted a seed for sure.
And maybe that's all you can do. Like, if you're
Yeah.
the person, like, you say your obligation if you feel like that's your place, whether it's to the direct person, to a peripheral person, and then at that point, it's on to them. Like,
But
it's
see,
on to the relationship.
in that situation, does it make our foursome friendship awkward?
Yeah,
Because then
it
he's gotta know
would.
that your partner says something
It
to you,
would
and then
make
you
it really awkward.
right? And then you, like, can't really hang out together anymore. It just
Yeah, I
makes
don't
it so
know.
like, what if I stayed with him for another 10 years? It would just been 10 years of awkwardness?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a consideration. Maybe what I
So
would have
hard.
done is like, watched it more. Like, maybe that's what it would have been. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna report it, but I'm gonna watch it, and if this happens so in college, a friend of mine, her boyfriend at the time, he, like, blatantly cheated on her, and I said something
Uh-huh.
to him. I never said
To
something
him.
to her, and then he, like, hated me after.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But did they break up? Like,
Not immediately,
n
like, eventually. But I didn't I gave him the opportunity to say something to her. I never said something to her.
damn.
I think she knew though. I think it was like
Yeah. I just have this side of me that just wants to seek justice. And then
yeah.
I feel like I need to draw the line sometimes because it could make things awkward or you could make have it misinterpreted something and then it just make things worse. But yeah, there's this burning part of me that's just like, I want to seek justice for everybody out
Yeah.
there. Anyway, what to our listeners and our viewers, what are you thinking? Would you
What are
say
you
something?
thinking?
Yeah, or have you said something in the past that you regret saying, where you are really proud of yourself for saying something? We want to hear from you. And then Marble dating app. Would you use it? Have you used it? What has been your experience? Let us know because we're I don't know. It's my days are over of creating a dummy account just to see what's going on the dating
Well,
apps
this one
that
you
are
have to actually show
oh, you have
up.
to show
So
up.
this one doesn't allow for or like you have to be like open to showing up.
That'd be the worst catfish. You show
Oh
up, you're
my
like, "I'm
god.
actually not single. I just really want this
I
reservation."
run a dating podcast. Yeah. Yeah, I just want the reservation.
This was really hard to get, sir. So
Okay, so we have a question that came in that actually I
uh-huh.
think is actually kind of related in the sense of like, what do you tell your friend? What do you do?
Mm,
So this is around love bombing. So the
mhm.
question was, I just started seeing someone and they've been incredibly intense from the start. Daily good morning texts, constant compliments, and they're already talking about our future together after just 2 weeks. It feels amazing, but also a little overwhelming. How can I tell if this is genuine interest or if I'm being love bombed?
I now understand love bombing as a way to not get deeper.
Mm,
I do remember getting love bombed at one point in my life, and in the moment, it felt amazing, but then your gut is like, do you even know this person? Have you
yeah,
had deep conversations? Do you feel authentic and vulnerable around this person? And it was a no, no, no in hindsight. But in the moment, it felt so good. It felt so like I felt so desirable. I felt so loved. And now it makes sense because it was his way of avoiding getting deeper.
interesting. So, this is kind of a weird thing that I did, but I'm obsessed with the show Summer House.
Uh huh.
And this season, there was a love bomber on there. So,
Okay.
any listeners that watch a show, if you don't, it doesn't matter. But the guy, his name is Jesse, and he came on hard to this new girl in the house, Lexi. It was very intense affection early on. So I consulted Chat GPT because I was like,
Good old
what?
Chat
Because
GPT.
everyone's like, Jesse's a love bomber, blah, blah. And I'm like, I, the word gets tossed around a lot, right?
Yes.
So that's why I was like, let me use this example that I can think of, put it in Chat GPT and see what it says. So one of it signs of love bombing and Jesse's behavior, intense affection early on. So,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like what this listener is getting, right? The next part, contradictory actions. So he basically flirted with other cast members and people in the
Mm.
house, even though he's telling this girl that he's like in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, gaslighting and deflection. When confronted, he deflected the blame. And then
Mm-hmm.
emotional exhaustion. Lexi describes feeling drained and isolated in their relationship, stating, I feel like the light in me is slowly dying because I'm exhausted from teaching you. So I guess the reason why I pull this up is like I think for this listener of like, is this genuine interest or if I'm being love bombed? I think it's these next three. Like, are there
Mm.
contradictory actions? Do you feel like there's gaslighting and deflection? And are you feeling exhausted emotionally from this? If the answer is no, then it could just be genuine interest because people do move at different paces. But if you're feeling like the negative effects of the I guess the bombing of the love, then
Mm-hmm.
that is reason to pause and, like Lexi did in the show, say goodbye.
Mm. But what was the final straw?
I mean, I think a lot of it was the gaslighting and deflection and then
Okay.
also the contradictory actions. Like when someone's telling you they are really into you and like going over
Uh-huh.
the top, but then like not showing it through their actions, like you feel the disconnect.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's a big piece of it. And then yeah, like when you're getting blamed for everything and it feels like it's not never like their fault. I think it's just signs of them not being a good partner. I think with love bombing, I hate to use like the narcissistic stuff because everyone throws this around so much, but I think in that's where love bombing originated, right? Is that it
Mm.
came from like more control. So I think in if it's like interest versus control, I think you could see the difference there.
Yeah, because a textbook love bomber does everything on their terms when they're
Yeah,
love bombing you.
right.
So they're giving you gifts that they like. They are doing nice things for you that they decided to do. It wasn't a conversation with you or them getting to know you. They just know exactly what is the formula
Mhm.
for this acquisition, but it's never on your terms. And the love bomber I can think of from my past, he's the one that was like, "Here's a dozen flowers, and I'm taking
Right.
you on a trip." And then when it came time for my birthday, he totally forgot because it wasn't on his time. It wasn't convenient for him to remember. But everything else was absolutely on his terms.
Right. And yeah, I think that like is the exact difference because when it feels genuine, they're giving you a gift that you want. They're
Uh
not
huh.
like doing it to like fuel their ego or feel good about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is the difference between someone who just doesn't know
Hmm.
how to
Yeah.
show affection and love, so they just, like, watched a lot of rom-coms and they're like, "Oh, roses and nice dinners," versus someone who is, like, really slick with this stuff and becomes a love bomber.
Well, I think that is what I was saying kind of with those last like three things, right? Like if someone's just doing it because they don't know well, like you're probably not feeling like they're gaslighting and deflecting on you.
Right, right.
Or there's an exhaustion that comes from it. Like, you're probably just like they kinda, like, come off almost, like, innocent. They just, like, don't know
Yeah,
better. Like, I remember there was a guy that we in our community that talked about, like, "Should I bring a candle to a first date?" And, "Should I bring
right,
flowers to the first date?" And it wasn't like he was trying to necessarily, like, love bomb and go overboard. It was just he just, like, didn't know. And I think you
right.
can feel that energy different. And usually the actions are consistent too. They're not contradictory. Like if someone just really wants to get to know you, they're probably like really trying to get to know you.
Mhm. So do you feel like if you have assessed that you're being love bombed, you should exit the situation right away, or should you call out this person, let them know that you think they're
Yeah.
love bombing? Because I'm a little conflicted. Sometimes it could just be signs of early relationship,
Yeah.
and this person could be inconsistent for so many reasons, and they could also just be a really smooth criminal. I You don't know
Yeah.
the difference. So maybe everybody deserves a chance to reset?
Yeah, I mean, back to the summer house example, I feel like she definitely called him out. Like, the first sign, it was, like, nicer, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
"Let me hear your side of this. This doesn't feel right, but let's talk about it." And then, like, the more and more it kept going, I feel like she actually gave him a lot of chances, like, almost too
Oh.
many. Like, she put her foot down real hard, and we're like all the, like, viewers of the show was like, "Go girl, get it. Like, stand up for yourself." And then, like, the next week, she's, like, back with him. And I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, yeah,
So I
that
think
happens.
eh but I do like that she, like, tried to talk about it, and it felt like it was, like, healthy communication, at least at the beginning.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think giving someone, like, one opportunity to at least explain themselves, and then if it keeps being the same behavior, I think at that point, you need to assess, like, "Is this right for me? Does this feel good?"
Right. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, we're basically saying, like, still acknowledge and give the other person an opportunity to speak up for themselves. And sometimes I think love bombers don't know that they're love bombing because 'cause they're so good
Yeah.
at it. And that's just their way of operating. And if they do get called out, I think how they react to that is very telling too.
So in your situation, you did, like, say something, right, about the
Yeah.
gift and not the birthday stuff?
Yeah, and he totally was gaslighting me the whole time.
Right.
"Oh, yeah, I mean, we already celebrated your birthday, like, oh, do you need me to call you on your actual birthday? Is that really important to you? Because we just saw each other last
Yeah.
weekend." And then 2 days later, I got a gift in the mail. He's like, "Oh, yeah, this was ordered a while ago. It just like, you weren't home to receive it on your birthday." Just bullshit like that. Like, you blatantly forgot my birthday, but, it's my fault.
So to me, that's number 2 and 3,
Yeah,
contradictory actions and gaslighting,
yeah,
and then probably 4, emotional exhaustion. So I think that proves it of, like, because like, a person that was genuine, the second you said that, they would've been like, "How do I make it right? How do I make you happy?
yes,
I just wanna make
yes.
you happy."
Right, take some accountability.
Yeah.
But no, not because it
Now
wasn't on his terms. And this is exact same guy I've talked about before when we're kind of like doing long distance. And you know the story, Julie. When I came to SF to visit him, he had an Excel spreadsheet of our weekend plans and asked me what I wanted to do and then never incorporated any of
yeah.
the things I wanted to do. Everything was on his terms. But at the time, I kept thinking, wow, this guy's such a planner. Well, I've never dated such a planner before. He thought of everything. No, he just wanted control over the whole
Yeah.
weekend.
I also think the person that wrote this in, like, you can set the speed too. Like, if you're
Mhm.
saying that, like, daily good morning texts, constant compliments, they're already talking about our future together after just 2 weeks. I think there's nothing wrong of saying, like, I love this idea of like going on this trip with you or whatever the future plans may be, but like, let's just bring it back to the present.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with slowing it down a little, and even, like, the compliments, like, "Hey, feels great to hear this, but, like, it almost feels excessive that I think it would maybe be more meaningful if I got less is more," Like, whatever
Yeah.
it is that you need to say, and then how they react to that will show you, do the contradictory actions and gaslighting and emotional exhaustion come out from it.
So, on the flip side of all of this, because we have to caveat this too, you have to recognize also the difference between you being love bombed versus
Yeah.
being with the person who's good for you.
Well,
I,
that's true, yes.
I watched this comedian and his whole shtick was about how Um, you never miss your crazy ex-girlfriend until you're with a well-adjusted nice girlfriend. And it is so spot on of the fact that if you've been in these toxic relationship behaviors in the past, when someone's good to you,
Yeah.
it may be hard for you to accept it. It may feel really uncomfortable, but maybe this person's just genuinely really good to you, like daily
Yeah.
texts, good morning
Right.
texts, telling you you're beautiful or telling you you're
Right.
smart.
Is
That
that
is
the
like
worst thing? Yeah.
is that the worst? Right. So sometimes we have to look inward too and ask, am I just not accepting this because this is not part of the behavior
Yeah.
patterns that I'm used to?
Yeah. bring it back to Summer House one last time, but there's another couple on there, Paige and Craig. It was a crossover from another show.
Uh-huh.
And her whole thing was like, oh my, because she was like basically going on tour. She does a very successful podcast, Giggly Squad, for anyone that
Uh-huh.
knows that one. And they were going on this tour, and they were already long distance, and they weren't going to see each other. And his whole thing was like, what? Where do I fit into this whole thing? Like, how do we like
Mm.
make sure our relationship still like operates with the tour? And she made it be like, oh my God, he's asking so much from me. Like, he's not like,
Oh,
proud, like he's like jealous of my success. And obviously we don't know what goes behind closed doors, but to me I was like, he's not asking that much to be like
no.
incorporated into your plans, and like maybe this is
No.
actually just an emotional block that you have.
Yes. 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 That is so layered.
Yeah.
But yes. Isn't it funny that you can see it so clearly as a
Yeah.
viewer who doesn't know these people? Yes, there could be other nuances
Right,
to
right.
this, but when you watch back, maybe this is a good test for everyone. Watch back your dynamic in this relationship as a viewer. Like
Yeah,
pretend you are watching a reality TV with
that's
you as
good.
a star.
Yeah.
How would you interpret this situation as a viewer?
Well, that's what I think, the putting it onto people we don't know. Because even like if
Yes.
a listener asks us for advice or something, I'll always be like, how do I say this in a way that like helps them and all this? It's like these
Yes.
people, we know they're not listening. So we can say whatever we want about them.
How do you know Paige is not listening?
Hey, write
Paige,
us. Tell us your
we
story. We
giggle
will
too.
happily have you on our podcast.
Congrats on the book.
Yeah.
Congrats on the tour. We
Yeah.
giggle too. We giggle with you.
I think though I wanted to tie it though to our earlier conversation of like, when do you tell a friend? So like, let's say
Mm,
you don't realize that you're being love bombed, but like you're kind
yeah.
of like this reality TV example. Your friends can see that something is not right. Do you tell
Yes.
them? Because then I think that has opened conversations like, oh, they're just jealous of our relationship, all of that stuff.
I wouldn't say anything. Nope. 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 Unless they asked me. Unless the friend was like,
Yeah.
"Do you think there's something weird going on here, or are we moving too fast?" I might give some sort of opinion, but if it's unsolicited, I've learned to just shut my mouth.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because people do move at different paces, and like
Yeah,
something for you might feel very fast, and for
sure.
them it doesn't. So maybe, yeah, that is the answer, that like, unless they're coming to you saying like something feels off. But what if
Yeah.
you just get bad vibes about the person? Because I've done this before and I'm not sure if I regret it or I'm glad I did it, of like sitting down and telling your friend, because at the time it was really bad. But I'm like kind of glad I spoke my piece in a way. But then also for years I was like, I overstepped, and I'm not quite sure like what the right mode is.
I still feel like people need to go through their own journeys and learn their
Yeah.
own lessons. Unless if there's abuse going on, I just don't think there's a role for me to say anything.
Or if they're like trying to take advantage of them financially, maybe. Like,
Yeah,
they've only
yeah,
known
like
each
if
other for 2 weeks, and they're like, I don't know, like
yes.
the Tinder swindler, that was like
Yeah,
love
like
bombing.
yes, like life-threatening kind of situation. But even with, my friend, that I think is getting scammed by this woman. I'm not saying anything
Until it
until he
happens,
asks.
yeah.
Like there's really cuz he's like so into this, so in love.
Yeah, it's so
And
hard.
it's so hard, and then if I say anything, he's gonna turn it around on me and
Right,
tell me that I don't wanna see him happy or something like that,
right.
so no,
Oof.
I'm just gonna shut my mouth until my opinion's asked.
We should do a whole episode about, like, what do you tell your friends, what do you not?
We will, we
Okay,
will. Let's do it.
cool.
We should do a would you rather on that.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
okay,
Okay, we'll save that.
good,
This
good.
was fun. I'm glad we are able to unpack a lot this episode. And yeah, if you're feeling like you're love bombed, we also have a chapter in our book. It's in the investing appropriately chapter, but there's a section around love bombing specifically. and like, are you getting love bombed? At first, I was like, "What are you doing?" And then I see
I'm
you like put,
molesting our
yeah,
book.
but like you're doing it in like a very odd angle.
I'm molesting the book.
It's like, is you okay? Your hands are getting very
Having a stroke? No, just fondling our
Sh
book.
For our listeners not on YouTube, she is pointing to the dateable how to be dateable sign in the background. But yes, if you are someone that's like, what's the difference of not someone not giving enough investment versus too much investment? We cover it all in this chapter. We even have an episode 2 on love bombing that we did with Dr. Diane a while back. So feel free to go to that also. We'll reference it in the show notes. So you can always just type in dateable love bombing and it will come up.
Yes. Perfect. Get your questions in. We'll answer them. And if you leave us a rating and review in Apple Podcasts or Spotify, 5 stars, please. And in the body of your review, you ask the question there. We'll bump it up to the top of the list and we'll make sure to answer it as fast as humanly possible.
Great. We'll see you next week.
Bye.